So I would like to come back to you, Richard, if you allow me, Richard. And so in your position in UNEP and having this central role, but I will also come back to Roberta on this. How do you evaluate, particularly not evaluate, how do you assess the role of regional and African organizations that have the mandate really for integration and promoting, the big files, as we say. And climate change is of course, you mentioned poverty alleviation and growth is also. But how do the regional organizations, the African organizations, really address the issue of climate change, of both adaptation, of course, as an entry point, and mitigation? And is there enough collaboration among countries under the leadership of the international and regional organizations to do this? So I will stop there, and then perhaps there are other questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. That's a very important question. The reality is that regional and international organizations are playing a very critical role, whether it is UN organizations or international NGOs or regional organizations like economic communities or ADB. They are playing very important role from different perspectives. For example, if you take UNEP, for example, play the role of knowledge to inform countries, not only revise their current indices as they're currently doing at the moment, but at the same time provide a sounding board with the best science. Like in December last year, UNEP released the emissions gap report, which shows that the world was heading above 3.2 degrees. And in February, UNEP released the adaptation gap report, which shows that if we were to leverage on the green pandemic recovery and implement actions that leverages on nature-based solutions, working with nature, not against nature, we can actually be able not only to drive socio-economic transformation, but at the same time curtail climate change. So countries already have their plans, they have their strategies, and they have their policies. And what is the most important thing to be done at the moment, both by regional and international organizations, is to help countries turn those plans into realities. The biggest challenge in the continent today is not about policies anymore, and this is a fact. It is about turning policies into actions, and actions that build socio-economic resilience of citizens, and at the same time, also lower emissions. And that is the biggest challenge. So the science helping inform what needs to be done, whether it is the green pandemic recovery, as was called by the emissions gap report of UNEP, that if that is implemented, emissions will be reduced by 25%. That gives that sounding board, and leveraging on examples that have happened to help countries integrate that to move forward. So the role of regional organizations and international organizations, providing the best science, providing advisory roles, but at the end of the day, the countries do have these plans to engineer them in a way that drive this socio-economic transformation and build resilience become important. Now, on your last question, which I think I just need to add to that, is if you look at the continent today, the priority of Africa is adaptation, but adaptation cannot be realized as a standalone. I think that is the mistake that has been made quite a lot of times. It needs what we call enablers. And in this case, we need mitigation to power adaptation. Let's just take the example of a mother in a village in northern Togo, in northern Kenya, in northern Cameroon, or in southern Mozambique, who produces bumper harvest leveraging on nature-based solutions. And then she suffers post-harvest losses. Africa suffers post-harvest losses worth $48 billion US. She needs preservation. And in this case, a simple solar dryer that can be put in place by a young person will be able not only to reduce the post-harvest losses, but ensure the life cycle of whether it is vegetable. And that can be sold later on and more money in the pockets. And at the same time, emissions are lower because emissions are not emitted. So we need that systemic thinking where adaptation is powered by mitigation solutions in the continent. And that then brings a change of narrative that low carbon green growth is opportunity that should be seen through investment lens.
Thank you. That was very, very clear. I mean, it's really we are also you know, I mean, whoever really realizes the issues, indeed, Africa does not need all policies. It needs action, and it needs also an innovative approach to solutions.